Hi everyone, this video is to help with the 9.7 part 1 and part 2 assignments. So I'm just going to go over a few questions to help you get moving along. So for number 2, you've got a quadratic and a linear equation, and you want to graph both of them and then place a point where they intersect. And that's the solutions. So for number 1, or for x squared plus x minus 2, for these you're going to use negative b over 2a to get the vertex. So x equals negative, the b is 1, over 2 times a, which is also 1. This simplifies to negative 1/2. Then remember, you would take negative 1/2 and plug it back in for x. So you would do, you take your calculator, and you would do parentheses, negative 1/2. You could just leave it like this so that'll give your answer as a fraction or as a decimal, squared plus parentheses negative 1/2, and then minus 2. So that gives you negative 2.25. So that means that the vertex is at negative 1/2, comma, negative 2.25. So if I first plot my vertex, negative 1/2, negative 2.25, the next point that we could plot would be the y-intercept. And that would be at negative 2, which is the same thing as the c. All right, so there's the parabola. For the line, this line has a slope, a y-intercept of 1. So remember, you plot the y-intercept and then use the slope to get another point. So the y-intercept is 1. The slope is negative 1. So we go down 1 over 1 to get to our next point. Oops, mine doesn't really like to cross over with different points. I'm going to put it there and then drag this over. All right, and then the last step is to take the point tool and put a point where they intersect. Those are the solutions. So the solutions to a system is not where they cross on the x-intercept. The solution to the system is where they cross each other. So right there you would place a point, and then right there, even though there's already a point there, you're still going to put another point there using the point tool. All right. For this question, when you do negative b over 2a, the b is 0 because there is no b term. So you do 0 over 2 times 2 is 4. It's just 0. And if you plug 0 back in for x, which is what you're supposed to do, you would get 0 plus 3, which is just 3. So for here, our vertex is 0, 3. That's this point. And then the problem is that the vertex is the same thing as the y-intercept. So to get another point, you can plug this in your y equals and look at the table, or you can use the fact that the slope is 2. So if the slope is 2, that's just the number in front of x squared. Kind of like the slope of a linear equation is the number in front of x. You would go up 2 and over 1 to get to your next point. For example, if this was a 4, you would go up 4 over 1. If it was 1/2, you would go up 1 and over 2 to get another point. So that's that one. And then you would do x plus 2. For this one, I think that they don't end up intersecting though, so you wouldn't need to use the point tool. That would be like no solution. All right, so for 4, you're going to want to subtract the x over to get it to be y equals. So it'd be y equals negative x plus 4. When you do your negative b over 2a, you would get negative 2 over 2 times negative 1, which ends up being positive 1. And then when you plug 1 back in, you would get negative 1 squared plus 2 times 1 plus 4. That gives us negative 1 plus 2 plus 4, which ends up being 5. So the vertex is 1, 5. So 1, 5. And then your y-intercept is 4. And that's what that one looks like. Okay, and then you would plot this one, y-intercept of 4, slope of negative 1. So here, then go down 1 over 1 to get another point. And then for your solutions, you're going to write the coordinates, like the x comma y So for example, in number 2, since I already have this one graphed, I would write the solutions here as -3, 4 for that one, and this one I would write 1, 0. All right, so that one should help you with number 5 as well. It's the same thing, but just be careful. This has a y-intercept of 5 and a slope of 2, so you'd go up 2 and over 1. For some reason, people were getting stuck on that. I'm not sure why, but anyways, let's hop over to today's assignment. So if you watch the video, you should be pretty good on these questions. Just make sure you're choosing the right numbers when you're factoring. For this one, you would have to subtract the 3x over. So you'd get y equals negative 3x minus 12, and then set that equal to the other one. Also, I know that the other ones, 4, 4, and 5, ask for elimination, but if you like substitution better, then that's fine. For 3, a lot of people were getting stuck with this one. You have to do, oh wait, no, not this one. Maybe this one. I don't know. You add the 10x over. So then you would get x squared plus 7x plus 5 equals 10x plus 5. Subtract the 10x over. Oh yeah, it was this one. Subtract the 5. The 5's cancel, and you get x squared minus 3x equals 0. So factoring this is not a trinomial. You just factor out a GCF. So here the GCF would be x, and then we'd be left with x minus 3 in equals 0. So this solution would give us 0, and this solution would give us 3. And then you would plug 0 and 3. I would plug it back into this part. Plug 0 and 3 back in for there. For number 4, the biggest part of number 4 that people were getting stuck with was the negative y. So you would subtract the 2x over. That's probably what you ended up doing. And then when you rewrite the y, you have to carry the negative with it. So you'd have negative 2x minus 10. And then to get rid of the negative, just divide everything or multiply everything by negative. So this would change all the signs to positive. So y equals 2x plus 10. And that'll make it so that you could actually factor it. Because if you don't do that, then you can't factor it. All right, number 5, shouldn't have a problem with that one. For number 6, just watch your video. It explains how to do it. Number 7 is a little bit different because it's a word problem. So the idea is you got to set these two equal to each other to figure out when they're the same price or the same cost. So I would do negative x squared plus 12x plus 14 equals 2x plus 30. Okay, subtract these things over. So I would get negative x squared plus 10x minus 16 equals 0. And now I can't factor this until the x squared is positive. So I have to change all of the signs. So this would be x squared minus 10x plus 16 equals 0. Factor that, and you will be able to get the numbers. Now for these ones, you don't need to plug in the x's back in. Those are just the answers. And then that'll help you with writing part B. Because what this is a parabola opening down, and it's intersected by a line. So when it's asking for an inequality that represents the values of x for which the quadratic stock is greater than the linear stock, it's asking you the interval between these two solutions, which is what you've got here. Okay, so write it in this form and you shouldn't have a problem. Now, number 8 is actually pretty easy. You're looking for where the y's are the same. So when did they have the same y values? So here, well, one of them is at 2, 0. So for one of my answers, I would just write 2, 0. Okay, so you can find the other one, write that as the coordinate. All right, so I hope this video helped you, and that is all.